Well, we have some breaking news from YouTube. In the last couple of days, YouTube have announced that as of July 31st, there's some changes, an update, a positive one, mind you, for the YouTube Partner Program suspensions. There's going to be opportunity to maybe not get suspended at all. So let's dig into this breaking news. Well, in the last couple of days, in fact, on the Creator Insider this week on YouTube video, they had two announcements. The first announcement, the main announcement we want to address today, is an update to the YouTube Partner Program suspension process. And we're going to go through the changes, and there's one problem. We're going to point out the problem, so stay tuned for that issue. But first, take a quick look at the screen here. They've just updated their appeal, a YouTube Partner Program suspension or application rejection. The usual spiel here: if you believe that your channel was incorrectly suspended from the YouTube Partner Program, or your application to join YPP was incorrectly rejected, you have the option to appeal, so on and so forth. Now, if you remember that you are able to submit an appeal, because what they would do was suspend you first and then say, hey, you're suspended. If you want to appeal, you have 14 days to appeal. If it's successful, you'll get reapproved. If it's unsuccessful, then you're out of luck for 90 days and you've got to wait 90 days to reapply. Now, they've added this new section here, which I'm just going to put into focus here. And we're just going to leave that on the screen because everything we want to look at is in this section here. So we're going to go through it, then we're going to talk about it. In some cases, those first three words are going to be very important in a few minutes. We may notify you that your channel is scheduled to be suspended from the YouTube Partner Program and invite you to submit an appeal before you're suspended. If you receive this notification, you have two options. Firstly, you can submit an appeal within 7 days before your scheduled suspension date. So basically, they're going to tell you before they suspend you and give you a 7-day warning. And you have that 7-day window to put in your appeal. As soon as you put in your suspension, we'll pause the scheduled suspension as our teams review your appeal. So as soon as you if they give you that 7-day clock, as soon as you put your appeal in, they will pause the suspension. So if it takes them longer to look at your channel and make a decision past the 7 days, they're not going to suspend you until that decision is made. If they decide to suspend you, of course. Our teams will respond to your appeal within 14 days with a decision. If your appeal is successful, your channel won't be suspended and you'll remain in YouTube Partner Program or YPP. If your appeal is rejected, your channel will be suspended from YPP. You cannot submit another appeal, but you can reapply to YPP 90 days after your suspension. So what they're doing is they're adding this little extra bit at the front where they're giving you a 7-day warning before they suspend you. Instead of suspending you and telling you, hey, we suspended you, and giving you like that 21-day period to figure out if you're going to appeal or not. In this case, in some cases, remember it says in some cases, they're going to offer you this option instead of the regular option. Let's look at the other part of this. You can choose not to submit an appeal within 7 days. Like if you know deep down your heart that maybe you had it coming for some reason, that you don't want to appeal because you know that, okay, yeah, there's some stuff I got to fix, and you know why, that you wouldn't, if you're doing an appeal, you don't want to make any changes, and which is mentioned further down here. And we've mentioned before where we've talked about reuse content in particular in this video here. If you do not submit an appeal within 7 days, your channel will be suspended and you will lose access to monetization tools and features. Since you didn't submit an appeal before the suspension, you have the option to submit an appeal within the 21 days of your suspension. So basically, if you ignore the 7-day appeal, you still have that 21 days to appeal whilst it's suspended. If you submit your appeal within 21 days of suspension, our teams will respond within 14 days with a decision. If your appeal is successful, we'll readmit you to YPP within 30 days. If your appeal is rejected, you can reapply for YPP 90 days after your suspension date. So pretty much everything else is as it has been in recent times. They've given you this bonus 7 days before they suspend you, so you don't lose your monetization straight away. They will give you that time to make your appeal, and then it will be all good and well, hopefully, if you're successful. But let's look at the elephant in the room. There is an elephant in the room here. Let's go back to the top here. It says, in some cases, we may notify you that your channel is scheduled to be suspended from YPP and invite you to submit an appeal. In some cases, the problem is YouTube haven't told us what those cases are. Is it a particular type of offense? Is it like if you do reuse content? Or is it if you do repetitive content? Is it if you break another monetization rule that is all listed out in the monetization policies, which we've gone through before somewhere on my channel, so you can go look for that. But that's the problem. YouTube are not telling anybody what the specific cases are. So this is a little bit up in the air. You may get this offer. You may just revert to the regular, hey, you're suspended. You've got 21 days to appeal. So keep that in mind. This is not going to be rolled out and guaranteed for every instance. The problem is, of course, we don't know what the instance is. What's the instance? We have no clue. So YouTube, if you want to provide a little clarity on that, that would be wonderful. In my mind, there's probably a reason why it's in some cases. And it may have something to do with possibly invalid traffic, possibly a Google AdSense related issue and not a regular YouTube policy related issue, because there's various types. Maybe you've done something very egregious that isn't something that you can appeal. You would need to go through the YouTube partner program policy to figure out what's going on there. We can only ponder and speculate at this point as what the in some cases means. I would hope that this would be something they would offer to people who are getting pinged with reused content, because I think that would be a great idea. Because in many cases, as you've seen in the video that I pointed out earlier, and it's in the card, it's in the description, when we're talking about reused content, they can ping you not because you are actually using reused content, it's because they don't know if it's definitely you making the content. And that's why it could possibly be reused content, because there's no clarity on the channel as to you, the maker of the content, injecting enough of yourself into the content to make it yours, transforming it enough to make it yours. So I'm hoping that that is one of the instances that the 7-day alert, we'll call it, will apply, where you have 7 days to get your appeal in before you're suspended. So hopefully that is going to help a lot of channels and not be something that is rare. But I do know that a lot of channels get done with reused content, so I'm hoping that is one of the things that is in some cases. But YouTube, if you want to share what in some cases means, what cases, is it a particular type of policy violation that will attract this extra leeway? Is it invalid traffic that will attract this leeway? What sort of, in some cases, are you offering? If you can provide more clarity, YouTube, that'd be great. Let me know what you think. Do you think YouTube is being a little bit open-ended here, or do you think that this is going to be widely offered to a lot of people who are being removed from the YouTube partner program? It remains to be seen. So make sure, if this happens to be you from the 31st of July onwards, 2024, if you happen to get offered this with a 7-day alert before you get suspended, make sure you reach out, drop it in the comments of this, come back to this video and let me know what it is that YouTube have pinged you for. What policy violation are they claiming that you're going to lose your YouTube partner program monetization for? We need to just get in and make it so. We need to make a list, I guess we could say. So let me know. And that is the breaking news for today for YouTube partner program suspension update. I'm sure I'll see you very soon. This is Doug, and I'll catch you later.